In October of 2022, I went to KL. Yeah. My trip to KL it took a long time. We left Toronto and took a 17-hour flight to Hong Kong. 17 hours. And then from Hong Kong to KL, I don't remember, that flight was non-consequential. It was a few hours, like maybe 3 or 4. I know I talk a lot of trash about Toronto, but I do actually really love the Toronto airport. Ironic, right? It's a big, spacious airport, and I mean, though people's luggage gets stolen more often than not, I've had nothing but good experiences at the airport. There are a lot of restaurants to choose from, a lot of shops to spend your time, and it's pretty big. If you just want to walk around, see a lot of stuff while you're waiting for your flight, it's a great place for it. I am someone who likes to be there early at the airport, so I appreciate that there's something to do. Like when the airport is like, get here 3 hours early, and no one does, I'm there 3 hours early. I'm first at the gate for my flight, which is kind of lame, I know, but there's something about the airport experience that is part of it for me that I like, and it helped me get all this goofy footage.
So we just got out of security and we're on our way to the gate to check that out. And then we're still got a few hours to go. So we're going to get some food and see what's still open because it is pretty late. It was a really fantastic experience. Checking in, we're flying Cathay Pacific.
Yes.
And I've never actually had such good service from an airline before. They were really friendly even when we were lining up. The line was really fast and efficient. They're really helpful. And even security. It was really fantastic. They took some issue with the selfie stick at first, but I opened it up to them and they thought it wasn't a sword or whatever. And then, yeah, we're good to go.
There are sit-down restaurants at the airport where you have a server come up to you, take your order like a normal restaurant. There are also cafeterias where you just line up, grab a sandwich, go. A lot of convenience stores, but there are a lot of these types of venues as well, where you sit at a bar and then there's an iPad that's meant for your seat, and you basically scroll through the iPad, place an order, and then mysteriously, a server will bring your order to your table.
Okay, so just got my food. Here it is. It's a little modest portion for the price, but let's see how it tastes. I got the Acer roll, so it's a roll with avocado. It's basically like an avocado same roll. The restaurant is called Acer, so it's called an Acer roll. Here.
Maybe the most expensive roll I've ever purchased in my life, but I'm going to Asia for a month, so it was worth it. It was a pretty cool experience. There's a lot to choose from, a lot of beverages. I mean, everything was pretty overpriced, but not ridiculously so like I expected. Not like the $8 bottles of water that you get at the convenience stores. So we line up to the gate, and here is our beautiful plane. Oh, Cathay Pacific. I love Cathay Pacific. I wish I could fly Cathay Pacific on my upcoming trip to Asia, but I definitely can't afford that. We lucked out on this flight. We paid, wait for it, 1,200 Canadian dollars round trip with Cathay Pacific because Hong Kong was still under their lockdown. They just kind of opened up their airport to accept international travel. However, the city was still under lockdown and they wanted to recoup business somehow. So we lucked out, and I never flew Cathay Pacific. I didn't know anything of it, but now I understand how lucky I was because that was amazing service. Look at the inboard food. It was delicious. This goof over here decided to order gluten-free food, and they basically just gave him boiled chicken and boiled carrots with no sauce, no flavor, no nothing, and it was hilarious. I ordered Jain Indian food ahead of time, and it was delicious. However, on the flight there, we saw that we should just stick with the default meals because Cathay Pacific has amazing food. If you let them give you what they have, they're gonna give you amazing food. Even though we had a modified menu, we still got access to the snacks and treats along the way. There were so many of them. Unfortunately, I didn't take too many photos of that because I was a new traveler. Even though I took a lot of videos on this trip, I was humiliated doing so. So it was at a minimum. But that 17-hour flight went by like a breeze. There was lots of leg room. It was easy to sleep. Service was amazing. I don't know how these flight attendants can be so happy and so cheerful at the end of a 17-hour flight, but they were. So kudos to you, staff of Cathay Pacific. I am ultimately impressed. When I'm a bazillionaire, I am going to be flying Cathay Pacific. So we land in Hong Kong and set out this goal to have amazing dim sum. I've heard wonders about the Hong Kong International Airport. I've heard that it's one of the best airports in the whole world and there's so much to do. However, like I said, the city of Hong Kong was still under major lockdown and the airport had its own kind of lockdowns. If you came from an international destination, there was a very small part of the airport that you were allowed to pass through. And because of that, we were quarantined from the outside part of the airport where all the restaurants and all the foods are. So we couldn't have any food. There was barely anything. Basically, we went to Starbucks. I had like a frappuccino. It was good. It was a Starbucks frappuccino, whatever. I usually don't buy that stuff in Canada, but it was a bit cheaper for us in Hong Kong. And buddy over here had some noodles and they're pretty decent. So the dim sum dream didn't really work out. Nothing is open yet. Nothing's really reopened because of COVID, but we found Starbucks is like the only thing open. Then arriving in the Kuala Lumpur International Airport was like a dream. The weather was beautiful. It was kind of crazy. So the flight is obviously air conditioned, like all flights are. There's like a set temperature. And when you walk out of the airplane, the wall of heat hits you like a brick. It was intense. And it's like instant sweat, but I loved it. I love tropical weather and there's a beautiful smell in the air. And I thought at first they were pumping perfume into the air system of the airport, but no, Kuala Lumpur just smells amazing. Kind of like tropical flowers. In a previous video, some locals said, I'm crazy. There's no nice smell in the air. Trust me, you're just used to it. Kuala Lumpur smells amazing. I was shocked. And we stopped to take this video because I was so impressed with how beautiful the airport was as soon as I stepped out into it.
Yeah, we just landed in Malaysia and oh wow, I have a million things to say and probably won't remember any of them. But first of all, we in Jurassic Park. Like, look at this place. It's gorgeous. I heard a lot of things about Hong Kong International Airport and I had really high expectations, which weren't really met when we were there. It was fine. Some cool seating areas. They're really nice. To be fair, a lot of the stores were closed because of COVID, but it's like night and day. This airport is unreal. We've been in here for 2 minutes. Went to Coffee Bot. I wish I filmed it. I was just in such awe that I couldn't. I just didn't. I just wanted. It was intimate. I just didn't film it. But I need to get some Coffee Bot footage later because that was really cool and it was delicious. And this coffee is amazing. Like cheapo. Yeah. The architecture of this airport is gorgeous. Everything is so opulent. Like this sparkly, beautiful nature accents behind us. There's a beautiful smell in the air. Like, not of like perfume, but like beautiful floral essences. And it's hot. It is hot in here. So we're definitely going to have to take off the sweater, which is more because we were leaving Canada. Don't need to hear it.
It reminded me of Jurassic Park with the amazing palm trees and this jungle tropical aesthetic you see all over Kuala Lumpur, which is why it's one of my favorite cities, probably my #1 favorite city. I love you, Kuala Lumpur. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, buddy-o.